When I was 16, my world was turned upside down by a conversation I never saw coming. It was a regular night, nothing special, but my mom sat me down, and that moment shattered everything I thought I knew about family. "I can't live like this anymore," she said. "You're old enough to take care of yourself now. You'll be fine. But I have to move on." It didn't hit me right away. I was still processing the fact that my mother, the one person who'd always been there, was telling me I was no longer a priority. She said it plainly. I was her past and her future. It was with a man she'd been secretly seeing, a man with 4 children of his own. There were no tears, no apologies, just cold finality. She explained that I couldn't stay in the house because she was selling it. She packed her things, and within a week, she was gone. Just like that. I remember watching her walk away, suitcase in hand, as if she was taking my sense of stability with her. But the worst part? I had no one to turn to. My dad had left years ago, and by then, he was a ghost. Mom was the one I counted on, and now she was gone, leaving me behind like an old piece of luggage. I stayed with my aunt for a while, but her home wasn't a permanent solution. After that, I bounced around, staying with friends and renting tiny rundown rooms when I could afford them. I worked an after-school job at a diner, then moved on to full-time work when I graduated. College? It was never an option, but I wasn't going to let that stop me. I took online courses, worked every hour I could, and slowly built a life. Meanwhile, my mom seemed to be thriving. Every time I checked Facebook, I saw photos of her, smiling in family portraits, celebrating Christmas, vacations at the beach, birthdays. She looked so happy, and I hated her for it. Yet I couldn't look away. Years passed, and by the time I was 24, I was settled in a small, cozy house in another state. I had enough money to feel stable for the first time in years. Then one day my aunt called. "She wants to talk to you," she said. "Who?" I asked, though I already knew. "Your mother." Her perfect life had fallen apart. Her husband had left her, and his kids wanted nothing to do with her. She was living alone, struggling financially, and somehow she'd tracked me down. A week later, she was standing on my doorstep, looking completely different, older, thinner, fragile. She burst into tears the second I opened the door. "I'm sorry," she sobbed. "I should have reached out sooner. I need help." At first, I was speechless. She wasn't asking for a loan, though. She wasn't asking to be let back into my life. No, she needed money. Money for my half-sister's tuition. A half-sister I didn't even know existed. I let her talk, but anger was building inside me. How dare she? I reminded her of everything she had done, how she'd abandoned me, how she'd made it clear that I was no longer a part of her life. She didn't deny any of it. She just kept crying, begging, saying she had nowhere else to turn. For a brief moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Against my better judgment, I told her I'd think about it. I needed time. I called my aunt and asked for advice. After talking it over, I made my decision. I called my mom back and I told her no. I couldn't help her. Not after everything. I hung up before she could argue. The silence that followed was suffocating. I expected relief, but instead I felt nothing. Days went by, and I couldn't stop replaying that conversation in my mind. Her tears, her desperation, words she said, "I have no one else to turn to," and it infuriated me, because deep down, a part of me still wanted her approval. After everything she'd done to me, I still felt guilty. It was like decades of her being my only parent had left me emotionally shackled. But then I thought about the nights I spent crying alone in borrowed beds, about the times I scraped together coins for food while she built her perfect family. It all made me feel grounded, as if I had made the right decision. She texted me several times, alternating between more pleas and guilt trips, but I never replied. Weeks passed, and just when I thought she had given up, my aunt called again. "She's asking about you again," my aunt said. "She thinks you're just heartless." That hit a nerve. Was I heartless? Was I doing the right thing? Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet with her one last time. I told her to come to me. When she arrived, I saw it. Her face was puffier, her makeup smeared, and there was something broken in her eyes. She started to speak, but I stopped her. "I need to say this first," I said, and then I let everything out. The years of resentment, the abandonment, the anger I'd carried all this time. I told her about the nights I spent wondering if anyone cared. I told her about the pain of seeing her happy in all those photos, with her new family. She just sat there crying silently, listening to me. When I was done, she whispered, "I don't know what to say. I'm sorry." For a brief moment, I thought maybe she got it. But then she added, "You don't understand. I didn't have a choice." And that was when I realized she still didn't understand. To her, I was always going to be the footnote, the one she left behind. "I'm sorry you're struggling," I said, my voice steady, "but I can't help you, not after everything." That was the last time I saw her face to face. But here's where it gets crazy. A few months later, I received an email from my half-sister. Her name was Ellie, and she was 18. She'd found me online and wanted to connect. At first, I ignored it. I thought it was just another way for my mom to reach me. But Ellie didn't stop. Her messages grew more persistent, and eventually, I gave in. Ellie and I started talking. She told me she'd grown up hearing about me, but it was always vague. "Mom said you were doing great," she wrote, but I could tell there was more to the story. And when I finally met her, I saw a lot of myself in her. Tough, determined, but broken. We connected quickly. But there was something Ellie wasn't telling me. I could feel it, the pain she was carrying, just like I had for years. Then one night, as we sat on a park bench, she finally broke down. "I have to tell you something," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "But you're not going to like it." What was it? What could be worse than everything I already knew? "Mom lied to you about me," she confessed. "About a lot of things. The tuition money, she didn't use it for me. She used it to pay off a debt, people she owes money to." I froze. Debt? What kind of people? Ellie looked terrified. "I don't know the details, but she's in trouble. Bad trouble, and I think she was trying to manipulate you into helping her." And then it hit me. The tears, the desperation. It was never about Ellie. It was about saving herself. The realization was cold. My mom hadn't just abandoned me. She had been lying the whole time. She didn't need money for tuition. She needed money to cover up her mess. But things didn't stop there. I finally met with her again, in a public place, where I confronted her. She admitted it. She owed $50,000 to dangerous people, and she was trying to manipulate me into paying. Except this time, I wasn't buying her story. I had done my research. It wasn't debt collectors after her. It was a scam she had cooked up with her latest boyfriend, a con artist. I confronted her with the truth, and she still tried to lie. "I need help," she begged. "No," I said. "You made your choices. Now you have to live with them." I cut ties for good that day, but it didn't end there. Ellie was caught in the middle of all this chaos, and as much as I wanted to protect her, I couldn't fix everything. I had to let her go through it. But then, late one night, Ellie called me again. Her voice was trembling. She had to leave. She couldn't stay there anymore. Her mom and her boyfriend were dangerous, and Ellie was terrified. I told her to come to me. I'd figure it out. In the end, Ellie found safety with a new friend, Madison, someone she could trust. And for the first time in years, Ellie started to rebuild. She went back to school, started working part-time, and even volunteered at a shelter. She was starting to heal. And my mother? I heard through the grapevine that her boyfriend had left her, and she was struggling again. But I didn't reach out. Neither did Ellie. We had each other now, and that was enough. But then something strange happened. A few months after Thanksgiving, Ellie called again, her voice full of urgency. She wanted me to come over. There was something she needed to tell me. When I arrived, she handed me a letter. It was from our mother. I hesitated but opened it. The letter was full of apologies and excuses, but the last line was chilling. "Even if you hate me, I want you to know you were never supposed to find out about the money." What did that mean? What money? Was it the tuition scam, or was there something more? The questions gnawed at me for weeks, But we never got the answers. And maybe that was for the best, because some questions, some mysteries, are better left unsolved. But if you want to hear more stories about how our family secrets almost destroyed us, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You never know what twists and turns are lurking around the corner.